Our Collision 2018 coverage is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. Find out all the ways you can benefit from a Prime subscription and get a 30-day free trial by going to collision.live/prime and by audiobooks.com. Get a free 30-day trial and a book to keep by going to collision.live/audiobooks using promo code TRY70.
So on that note, our next interview is here. Hi.
Hi.
Can you please introduce yourself for us?
My name is Jenny Thompson. I'm the CEO of SafetyPIN Technologies.
Okay.
And what is SafetyPIN?
SafetyPIN is like a virtual trust badge for the sharing and gig economies. So it's a way of letting somebody you met online know that they can trust you offline. It's a 4-pronged screening process where we run a criminal background check. Okay. We screen your financial history. We do a personal identity verification. And then we've incorporated a behavioral profiling component that we've developed with criminal profilers, and we're working with a clinical psychologist from Yale who specializes in psychopathy so that we can weed out people who have negative behavior but don't have a criminal record.
Right.
I like to share at this point, like Harvey Weinstein is somebody that might not have a criminal record, but you wouldn't want to send your daughter to babysit at his house.
No, never.
So we, people go through the screening process. It's a membership-based model where you sign up. You're the one giving us your information. Nobody's going behind your back. And then the only thing we share with people is your actual PIN ID and whether it's in good standing. And if you apply and don't get awarded one, there's no indication of that anywhere. It's only a positive or a neutral.
Right. So no one knows why.
No one knows why.
And it just clicked right now. The name. It's the SafetyPIN.
Well, it's SafetyPIN personal identification number. You get an actual. So like my SafetyPIN is JRS7 BBB1.
Okay.
So you could go to our website. You could type in that number, and it would ask me if it was okay for you to verify my PIN.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, I thought you were going to...
No. I'm still in awe. Okay, so the purpose of doing these checks, you do the check yourself, on yourself?
You self-screen so that we kind of look at it like trust. You can choose me because you can trust me. So let's say you're on Tinder and somebody wants to meet you right away and they say, I have a safety pin. You know that they've been through this process and that they have even been through this behavioral screening. So there's a pretty good likelihood they're not a psychopath or a sociopath.
Right.
If you're hiring somebody to come to your home, if somebody's going to come to your house to look at your sofa to buy on Craigslist.
So this is across the board.
Cross-platform. So it's your membership,
right,
and then you can use it everywhere.
So
so it's a way for someone to be able to trust you. You're like, hey, trust me.
Without
having all of these checks.
Without having any of your personal data. Exactly.
Right.
And, a lot of babysitters, for example, are on 3 or 4 different platforms. So they're on care.com and Sitter City and Urban Sitters. And they're paying for background checks over and over and over again because a lot of the sites are charging them to run the check. This way they can choose not to get the check if they want, or they can do it, but they can use the safety pin everywhere. And so the thing that they purchase for their babysitting career, they can also use when they're renting an Airbnb or going on a date.
Right.
Is there also a way to make it so that some things aren't private? I mean, for example, if something comes back in your favor for whatever you're applying for, or if you weren't a babysitter and it says you're very caring or whatever, would you be able to
We default to privacy, and I think there's too much risk when you look at some things and not others. It's also the reason we don't include social media or subjective reputation scores. The first thing I said to everybody here who asked me that question was, what's the first thing you did the day you launched your Facebook page? You went to your friends and said, hey, can you like my Facebook page? And you got all 5-star reviews on a product that none of them had used. So there's a lot of benefits to social media and reputation, but that's something somebody can do independently of us, and so we didn't incorporate it into our algorithm.
Okay.
So let's say I want to hire a babysitter, and they have a profile somewhere, but they don't have a safety pin number. I can ask them if they have one and to let me have that number, or if they don't, I can ask them to go sign up on the site.
Exactly.
And then I can go back and check.
You can ask them to apply. Most people are approved within 24 hours.
Okay.
Not everybody. Some states it requires a little bit we have to dig a little deeper. And if they don't perform to our standards on the first round of behavioral questions, they get served up additional ones, and we aggregate the scores. So it can be more than 24 hours, but most people are approved within 24 hours.
Okay. Where did this idea even come from?
My dog sitter, I was on vacation, and she was supposed to stay at my house with my dogs, and she when I got home, I realized she clearly had not. So I told her that she had to pay me back the money that I had paid her
to stay,
and she faked her own death instead of paying me back $150.
Whoa. Wait,
wait,
how?
wait.
Okay,
We have to-
that's a really good story.
We have to put a pin in this for a second.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let's go.
She faked her own death.
Yeah, so I got a text from her father that said, "Dear employers, my daughter Sarah," I won't say her last name, but I will say her first name, has been in a horrible car accident. It gave all these details, which is an obvious indication of lying. And then apparently they forgot that I have Google. And so I Googled the accident. Nothing came up. It was the kind of accident that they said
Would've been
she
on
had
the
swelling
news.
on her brain. She was in a coma. It would have been they would have had to shut down the highway to get her, and there was nothing. And then every day for the next 3 or 4 days, I would get an update that said oh, her kidney function has shut down. We're thinking about whether we have to take her off of life support. And then finally, so I knew that they were probably lying. But there's this part of you that never wants to think someone would do that. So what I kept doing is I would send a text to her phone number and then say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I meant to text my other pet sitter." So I sent a text on Saturday morning that said "Hey, are you going to be here by 10?" And then I wrote back and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I realized I sent it to the wrong number." And they wrote back, "Oh, you're fine. She passed away this morning." And I was like, that is not how you would share that information.
What?
Yeah, so her Facebook's updated. She's fine. She's fine. But yeah, she faked her own death, and she was 19 years old. She probably had no criminal background. I met her on Craigslist, and I was like, "This is never going to happen to me or my dogs again."
Yeah.
That's
So how would,
Right? I'll show you the text when we're done here. Yeah.
No,
Please
definitely,
do.
Yeah, definitely. How would SafetyPIN prevent that in
So-
that case scenario?
Yeah. So I obviously have not had her answer the questions because she's maybe dead.
Maybe.
And so quick side note, it's funny because her name is Sarah, and people have said to me, "Are you sure you want to use her real first name?" And I'm like, "What's she going to do? Come back from the dead?" And be like, "You can't talk about me like that." So she obviously has not been through the screening. And here's the thing, she's 19, so she probably would not have enough of a financial history that you'd be able to see if she had committed fraud or had a pattern of negative behavior. What we really look for is patterns of negative behavior, not one little check in your past. And the algorithm allows for that, and it allows for all of us growing up and no longer doing stupid things. And the law enforcement professionals worked very closely with us to develop what they considered risky behavior and what they considered behavior that could be overlooked. So she probably wouldn't have had a financial scam history, and she probably wouldn't have had a criminal history. She would not have passed the behavioral screening just based on my conversations with her. When I said to her, "You owe me that money," and she said, "I already paid taxes on it." I was like, "It's May 2nd. You're 19 years old. You're not filing quarterly."
Yeah.
So she didn't have the capacity to outsmart our questionnaire by any means. And I think that's where I would have found out not to let her in my home.
So I think I remember you saying that when you do the screening, it's either positive or neutral.
Yes.
Is the outcome. So if I go through and I don't pass the behavioral screening, what happens then?
Well, you wouldn't get a safety pin. When I say it's positive or neutral, I mean there's no negative indicator. Nobody can come to our site and search and say, "Did Danielle get a safety pin?" No, why not? They can't search by your name at all. They can only search by the pin that you give them.
You have to give them so that you
have
can trust them.
to give them. And then you get a notification that says, "Do you want to let Jenny verify your safety
wow.
pin?" So we're very focused on you maintaining your privacy. And we have a privacy mode or a display mode. So if you're a babysitter, you can put your pin up in display mode. And if you're dating and you only want to give it to people when you're asked for it, you can say "I have a safety pin," but it's in privacy mode, so you have to get my permission to even see what my number is.
Okay.
And so the person that's going, let's say I'm going to hire a babysitter.
Yeah.
And it's in privacy mode. Do I have to have a safety pin to look at it, or can anyone look at it?
Anyone can look at it with the pin holder's permission. Right now, that functionality is free, and in the future, I think we're going to do it's one per month for free if you're not a safety pin holder, and then you can either pay per use or you can buy a subscription that you can check an unlimited number.
Okay.
And I want to be really clear. There are tons of reasons somebody might not get a safety pin as we grow. Right now we're very new. It's an education and knowledge issue.
Right.
We also are only currently providing them for U.S. citizens and permanent residents because the privacy laws and the criminal codes in other countries would not work with our algorithm.
Right.
And so we we're planning on being international in the future, but right now we're U.S. only. And also, some people, we need a lot of personal information, and we are storing it better than Equifax stored it. We use encryption, and we're hashing, and we are very comfortable with the level of security we've put in to protect people's data. We also don't store the criminal history data with your personal data, so nobody could ever see that as a single record. But some people just don't want to give that information. So there are plenty of reasons someone might choose not to apply for a safety pin, and we don't want that to create a lack of trust. We just want the safety pin to create a higher level of trust and an implicit trust.
And when you guys are like searching through my stuff, do you go through like Facebook posts and Twitter posts?
We don't use social media. We think it's too subjective.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, like that's available to you as a someone who's hiring a babysitter. You can say, give me all your social media links. I want to check them. And one of the things we talked about is like bots aren't great at detecting sarcasm.
Yes.
And so that could really mess up somebody's social media score.
Right.
I also have a friend who runs a very reputable business, and one of her competitors is hiring people to give her 1-star reviews in her town.
Oh,
and
wow.
so, like, the way that scoring and reputation and review and social media work, that's not what I want to do.
Right.
I want to create something that's objective, that says this is a person who has no reason that you shouldn't trust them, regardless of the fact that they might have posted something positive about something that you feel negatively about or something else. And
and then real checks to make sure that's kind of...
Yes.
I
And
love
by the
this
way,
idea.
we rerun people regularly, which is why it's a membership-based model. So we have an algorithm that tells us how often to rerun people based on demographics and geographic information. So my 76-year-old mother who hasn't had a parking ticket in 50 years, we would only run her once a year. But somebody who's 22 and unemployed, we might run monthly or every 6 weeks.
Such a great idea.
They don't pay any more. And they don't know how often we run them. So we take full responsibility for that.
Okay.
So I see you with the red badge on. So you're an alpha.
I am.
How far in the process is
So we've been live for 7 weeks.
Oh, wow.
We're live. You can go get a safety pin right now at getasafetypin.com. We're working on a voucher system where, like, we're going to create a mommy pack where moms can buy, like, 5 vouchers and send them to their nannies and their dog walkers and their lawn guys. So, yeah, anybody can sign up now, and you can use it. We have there's a live version of the pin that's date and time stamped to the second. So if it's a screenshot, you know that pin is probably not the person's real pin. And then we have one that is an easily downloadable image, because a lot of the social media and other applications won't let you plug in our live badge right now. But and it's we have a patent pending on the badge. We have a provisional patent filed, and we're live and ready for business.
What are the price points on the memberships?
It's $1 to apply, and then right now we're doing $1 a month for the first 6 months. So if you apply and you get approved, we'll charge you $7 right away. That'll cover you for 6 months, so you can start using it and tell your friends about it and get it out there. And then after that, it's $4.99 a month or $49.99 a year, and you can cancel anytime. You can turn it on and off.
That is a really good deal.
The only other thing is you can only ever have one pin. So, for example, like if your employer says, "I want to get you a pin," make sure that you know that if you leave that employment. And by the way, it's not really for full-time employment. It's for contractors.
Right.
Because we do access financial information, and so we don't want people to violate the FCRA. But if you leave your employer, you want to make sure you transfer that to your credit card, because as part of the digital ID, we will only put one PIN per person.
Right.
It's not like when you have a Google account and they shut down your ads and you're like, I'll just use a different credit card and a different zip code.
And how does it ensure that it's one PIN per person?
Well, because we have to use your social and your personal identify information. If your PIN got compromised, if somebody stole it, we would be able to manually go in, retire that PIN and give you a new PIN, but it's not the kind of thing where you can just apply and be like, oh, I forgot that I had that one, I'm going to get another one, like Gmail addresses.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like I have 11 emails because I can't remember any of my passwords. So it isn't like that. We're very focused on verification and digital ID there.
This is amazing.
This is a really good idea. I love this.
Is this like
Thank you.
so it's a website? Is it also like an app?
The app is being built right now, but it's an online application. The truth is, because I'm a little bit of a privacy fiend, even when we launch the app, we're not going to have the ability to apply. You can apply on the mobile responsive site. We don't want the ability to apply in the app because it's such personal information. I don't want people doing it sitting at Starbucks on their phones or in line at Starbucks. Like, you really should be on secure Wi-Fi when you're giving us this information. So I'm like protecting people from themselves, which is something I don't normally believe in. But the first iteration of the app, you will only be able to use it for verifying somebody's PIN and allowing someone to verify your PIN and seeing the people who have access to your PIN. In the future, that will likely change because people won't care and they'll want to be able to apply while they're in line at Starbucks. But we're hoping that people take their personal data and privacy seriously.
This is so cool. I'm amazed.
I think you guys should shut down the rest of the day and just go apply for your state. Well, actually, you only need 5 to 7 minutes. It's 5 to 7 minutes and $1. GetASafetyPIN.com.
Lunch is coming up.
Lunch is coming. This is happening on lunch. Like, leave cards for us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because this is amazing.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. I'm doing this.
This is perfect.
today.
So one more time, where can our viewers go to find out more about SafetyPIN and actually apply
and follow your journey, because this is awesome.
So if you want a little bit more information, it's GetASafetyPIN.com. If you're like, I don't need to know anything else, she's awesome, I love the idea, I just want it now, go to GetASafetyPIN.com/apply. And it'll take you right through the application process. And if you guys want, when we break for lunch, I have a 59-second video that'll show you the application process. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm in.
This is so good.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you guys. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
We honestly love it.
I appreciate it.
Like, lunch is in a couple hours, so you have to come back.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I hope you have a good rest of your conference.
Thank you so much.
Very
it was
nice
great
meeting
meeting you both.